Hi, my name's Joe.
And I'm Mike.
And you're listening to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up? The podcast. And this week we'll be reviewing Boss Baby.
He's the boss, baby.
Welcome to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up? Featuring two guys debating the merits of various juice cleanses and reviewing movies in a weekly podcast form.
And thank you to Allison Toback on Facebook for that synonym suggestion. What are the merits of various juice cleanses?
I don't know.
I mean, we're doing the beer juice cleanse tonight.
Yes, that's very true.
Not a lot of merits to it.
Well, it's... Are you implying that there's juice in this? Because I'm pretty sure it's
I'm just implying that it's a liquid.
Oh, okay, it's flavoring and it's soda, actually. But, yeah, thank you, Allison. Levi's older sister! It's my friend Levi's older sister.
Oh, now I get it.
Yes.
If you have more synonym suggestions, you can leave those for us on Facebook or any of our social media. Hit us up with those. But let us delay no further. Betwixt us for the first time, Andrew Lister, lead vocalist of Bright-Eyed Deliverance, and also guitar player and keyboard player and all that. Welcome, Andrew.
The crowd fades out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Our first live episode in front of this live crowd.
The crowd goes wild!
And they sound so far away. Like they're all screaming at like a top volume, but they're just yards away.
Yes.
They're here.
I can't believe we filled up the Superdome.
We're recording live from the Superdome.
Live from the Superdome.
Is the Superdome even around anymore?
It should be. I hope no one.
Did they reopen the Superdome?
Is
I
that
hope
like
no one took it
Seattle or
away.
some shit?
Does Chris Kyle have somewhere to purge for his sniping?
Did it get ruined by the New Orleans?
It was closed for a while, I think. That's where the Saints play, right? Is the Superdome?
Yeah, but they
It
were
was closed for a while and they had to
they
play
were
elsewhere.
keeping people there, though, right? That was like a place of.
Maybe that's why it was closed.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's okay.
We can't play football with all these refugees.
I mean, I know it's okay because we're here now. What? You guys getting annoyed yet? Because
Can you tell it's the third episode?
Guys, before we even got drunk, I dropped a soft box which had 4 very large halogen bulbs in it, and they all shattered.
Yes.
And we spent a while vacuuming light bulb shards for a while, so that's the kind of night
That's
it's
how our
been,
night
yes.
went. Before we get further, let's drop some links for Bright-Eyed Deliverance. We got Facebook.com/Bright-Eyed Deliverance, as Alex informed us last week. Check out the Ghost in the Shell review with Alex Branchick. Also, Andrew's the former drummer of Maya's Fall Victim. More importantly...
Yes. OG.
OG, yes. Original
OG,
member of Maya's Fall
MESV.
Victim. What are we drinking this week? Let's drink some more beer. Let's put some more stuff in our system.
So
Juice.
for
Drinking
the
hard soda.
Juice.
sequel, the hard soda
The
sequel, it was going to be a trilogy. Maybe we can bring out the lemon lime after
See how
this.
the episode goes.
Yeah, no, that would be a very bad direction. These are pretty strong. I'm feeling that first one.
Yeah. This is Seagram's Grape Hard Soda.
But yeah, last week we did like an orange cream,
Creme. Orange creme.
orange creme de la creme. Got really bad when it was warm, so let's drink these while they're cold.
Delsum.
Basically tastes like a melted grape popsicle with malt liquor in it.
Has a grape aroma. I used that joke last
getting a
time.
lot
What
of
are you
grape.
doing, Joe?
It's got
Stop
a soda.
Stop recycling jokes, Joe.
Hold on. It sounds like the people with the jokes.
It's landing. Keep going.
They are losing it over this joke.
If you're watching on video, the joke is not working as well.
What do you mean it's not working? People in the Superdome are like bored behind us. If you're watching the video and you can see the Superdome,
aren't happy with our jokes. Those fans weren't applauding that joke. Oh boy.
It's nice though. It's not bad.
It's
What do you think?
it's melted popsicle with malt liquor.
That's being
I'm
nice.
feeling it now.
It'll do the job.
The
It'll get her done.
melted popsicle.
It really is a melted popsicle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But let me read this IMDb description, and then Joe can tell us all about the Boss Baby. The one and
So
only.
excited.
What can I say? He's the boss. That was
Baby.
Joe Notes.
A suit-wearing, briefcase-carrying baby pairs up with his 7-year-old brother to stop the dastardly plot of the CEO
7?
of Puppy Co.
Okay.
7.5.
Thought he was
Is he 7.5?
fucking
Was that a quote in the
5.
movie?
4.
Did anyone else
4.
watch the movie?
Yeah,
Joe pulls his collar. A classic. I'm in deep
And the
water.
superhero
They love it. They love the full body performance. Superdome is on their feet.
I'm seeing so many
Do you believe in podcasts?
so many bras everywhere.
Of course we do. They're real. Oh man.
Take us away, Joe.
Take me away. Okay. So the boss baby. What can I say? He's the boss. Okay. The boss baby's direct.
Please, quiet people. We're trying to review this movie.
Joe, cut the fucking
If we could
jokes.
just have your participation, Superdome.
The Boss Baby is directed by Hendel Butoy and Tom McGrath. Hendel Butoy's directing credits include The Rescuers Down Under and 2 segments from Fantasia 2000. He only directs films every decade or 2. So we can expect his next animated feature in 30 years. Man, I thought it was really funny when I was writing those notes. You were right! This joke is never gonna die! Turn it off now! You don't know. Tom McGrath has directed a TV movie, 2 episodes of Ren and Stimpy Show, a segment from an episode of Kablam, Madagascar, Escape to Africa, Megamind, and Madagascar, Europe's Most Wanted. The Boss Baby is loosely based on the 2010 picture book of the same name, written and illustrated by Maria Frazee. They love Maria! Get on your feet for Maria, everybody! It is written by Michael McCullers, and it stars the voices of Alec Baldwin, Miles Christopher Bakshi, Steve Buscemi, Jimmy Kimmel, Lisa Kudrow, and Tobey Maguire.
All-star cast.
So yeah, that's the notes that I have / read from Wikipedia. Where do we
Here we
begin
go.
with a film like this?
Talk about this film's weird obsession with baby butts.
They're cute.
Weird. It's borderline creepy how obsessed this movie is with baby butts.
Just picture there's a bunch of 40-year-old men who just spend their day animating baby butts.
Make it juicier. Have a part where he smacks it and it bounces a
Literally.
lot. Like it's a fucking Kim Kardashian ass.
There's literally a baby ass slapping scene.
Yeah. Like playing the drums on a baby's butt
Like
and
at
spraying
least
powder on it.
4 seconds long.
I timed it.
Dang.
And when I loop it, it gets a whole lot longer. Whoa! Superdome was so strange!
This just took a dark turn.
I expected a few out there, but it's a weird ratio. I'm thinking, it seems like everybody. So Tobey Maguire just narrates the film.
Oh God!
Like
For half of
how
it,
many times?
for the first half, he narrates, and then
How many times do we have to talk about this?
I talk about this many times on the podcast. Narration is fine, but be consistent. Narrate the entire movie.
He just disappears in the
movies
second
do this
half.
all the time, where they'll narrate the first like 10 minutes and then the last like 5 minutes, or they'll narrate like this, like the first half to get the story going and establish everything to cover up for bad writing and bad exposition, and then they'll just forget about the narration when they get into the groove of actually writing a story. And it's like it's just a tool that writers use to like get the script going when they can't actually write a decent fucking script. And it's super weird in this because it's like Tobey Maguire writing or narrating from like the viewpoint of like an adult, but he's just like talking about his experience as a kid, and he doesn't bring any like. We're looking way too deep into Boss Baby, but I'm looking for every avenue to tear this movie apart. We should also preface this review by saying that we did not want to review this movie. I remember seeing it in theaters, or seeing like the preview for it in theaters, and being like, I'm so glad that that's probably going to do awful because it looked so awful. And I was like, oh, we're not going to have to see it. My girlfriend Rowan always gets me like posters from the theater that she works at, and she gave me Boss Baby posters as like a joke. Like, and I was like,
I remember that. Yeah,
I was like, it's fine. Like, we're never gonna have to review these.
Mike showed that to me.
I have 2 Boss Baby posters under my bed right now. And then Boss Baby beat Ghost in the Shell and the other movie that came out. I think it was The Zookeeper's
like
Wife or whatever.
53%.
It did really well at the box office. And
On
either Joe
Tomatoes.
texted me or I texted Joe like, "Are you seeing what the Boss Baby's doing? Like, we're gonna have to review the Boss Baby."
Because that was one weekend, and I think we were reviewing Power Rangers or something, and Scott was on, and he was like, "Yeah, Boss Baby, the Boss Baby's like dominating the box office this week," and we're like, "Oh, well, it's just 1 week," and then the next weekend it also did #1 at the box office, and I was
Can't
like,
believe it, man.
"This is bad, Mike."
I mean, animated movies always do well just because there's so many kids that go to the theaters, and when kids go to the theaters, they bring friends, and their parents have to go with them to bring them. So it's just there's a lot of tickets that get sold naturally through animated films. But yeah, I was not expecting it to do that well. I was really hoping it wouldn't do that well.
It was #1 at the box office for as long as Beauty and the Beast was. Like, you know, it beat Beauty and the Beast instead of...
There also weren't a lot of strong releases in that time.
Yeah. Luckily, we have Fate of the Furious.
Yes, to save the day.
To beat Boss Baby.
But yeah, we were talking about Tobey Maguire before I went off on that rant about this, and how he's narrating this whole movie, but he's narrating it. I mean, he's speaking from the future and from being like an adult's voice, but he's not providing like any insight from like the future. Like, he's kind of just narrating it. It could have been narrated by the kid, and I don't know why they narrated it as Tobey Maguire.
Because he's narrating it from like this imaginative point of view. I mean, I know he's framing it kind of as like a fairy tale almost, because at the end it's kind of revealed like, oh, I'm telling you about your new baby brother or sister or whatever. But it's still like, I don't know. I guess literally that's the only reason they needed it. So at the end they could be like, there's a new Boss Baby in town and it's a girl.
Boss Baby 2.
Yeah. This time.
Girl boss. She gets paid 88 cents on the dollar.
She's got to wear a diaper bikini.
God. We can't do spanking scenes with her butt.
Silverdome, calm down. You're too into the diaper bikini.
New topic.
You're disgusting. We started off praising you, and you've gone down a dark road. Oh boy.
Oh god. So I just don't know where to start with this movie. It's the whole Tobey Maguire thing. I mean, I really don't care about spoilers. Don't go see this fucking movie. But like we said, it's a whole device where the reason he is narrating it is because in the end, then they can have the scene where we pull out. And we don't actually see his face, but we see these.
I don't think there's much pulling out if there's a Boss Baby.
Where we we see the boss baby and his brother, whatever the kid's name is, as adults. And he's got a kid, and he's reading her this book that he wrote about his experience having a little brother as a kid, I guess, to prepare her for this new boss baby too that she is getting. But, and I'm losing my train of thought where I was going with this.
Is it just me, or is Alec Baldwin's boss baby just like Donald Trump?
Oh yeah, and there's
He's
Absolutely.
just like he didn't even really bother to like change that many things. He's just like, I'm boss baby.
I remember where I was going with this. All right, so I hate when we do stuff like that because it's like the whole like dream trope of like it was all a dream, none of it was actually really happening, so none of it really mattered because it's just kind of his like imaginative representation of what it was like growing up with like a little brother coming to the family. So like that, like whenever you do stuff like that, it invalidates the entire experience we just had as an audience watching the movie. But in this, like the experience is already sort of invalidated along the entire way because it's like this weird alternate reality where there's like a company called Baby Co. that is producing babies, but they're not like selling them, and then there's also the rival company. Like it's there's not any like satire in it. There's not enough like groundedness in reality. Like there's nothing I can really attach Baby Co. or Puppy Co. to. Like it's not selling any kind of message about like corporate culture or like any of that. And there's no like real life like parallel for any of that. So like the entire movie was just invalidated to begin with, where I was like, these stakes don't matter because I don't know what these companies are supposed to represent. They don't, like, obviously there's no company that like is a corporation inventing puppies. Like I just could not wrap my head around that entire concept for Puppy Co. Like it sort of works with Baby Co., but it's almost like a crutch, an excuse to have the boss baby as a character, like basically like a Stewie Griffin fucking character ripoff.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah,
but then like and it sort of works because it's like supposed to be like their version of like the stork, like, you know, why parents won't tell their kids like how, you know, babies are actually made type thing. But like it's so weak and it's so whatever that like just there's no stakes to this movie because I'm just like none of this, it doesn't matter. It's not a real reality. It's not even a convincing fake reality. It's not a satire. It's just some weird alternate universe that doesn't make sense.
It was just,
so I just didn't care the entire time. My point is that it goes even further when they do the whole not dream trope, but like it was all a book trope. So then I'm just like, it's even further invalidated. And why did I care? Not that I did, but why was I supposed to care this entire movie? If it was all a book, and then within the book, it was all just some weird, like, nonsensical thing.
It was just kind of like, if this, I mean, I have not indulged in the picture book, which is the source material, but it's kind of like,
Wow, you're not a real fan.
I'm not.
I'm not a real boss baby fan.
The Superdome's like,
I like seeing Boss Baby in just his diaper. But I didn't, like, do kids... I mean, if this is a picture book for children, obviously this is a tool, which I don't understand why they didn't advertise this as, like, a tool for parents to be like, hey, we're gonna fuck again? We're gonna make you a little brother? Or kind of just introducing the theme of, you know, for children, it's kind of like, you know, parents' love is not finite, and, you know, just because we're dividing time doesn't mean we're dividing, like, love or whatever, kind of. And it's a super important message. Yeah, it's a little cliched at this point, but I mean, if you really want to hit the nail on the head, this is like a great movie to bring your kids to, and I'm sure it's a great book. But I just don't really, even in the book, I don't really understand how maybe, like, the corporate, like, how kids can be like, Oh, this is funny because this is also satire of the corporate world, kind of like
Yeah,
I don't really do
I don't think
children
I don't think they-
understand like police, firefighters, but do they understand like bosses? Kind of.
No, I don't
like,
think they'd be able to make that connection.
Like it's just
Yeah.
such a bizarre metaphor.
Like, I think why, like, Zootopia is a great kids movie and why that works is because they can make those connections. And, like, even if you don't fully understand
It's about like race, or
politics
something.
and how all that stuff works, in Zootopia they can look and be like, oh, that sloth is a DMV worker and he's slow. And, like, you know, that cop is a elephant or whatever. And it makes sense to them, where this, there's nothing to really point to and be like, that's what that's supposed to be, and it's silly because it's this. Like, it's almost like a joke that doesn't have like the setup at all. Like, it's a punchline to a joke that wasn't like established. Like in Zootopia, the joke is cops aren't actually elephants, DMV workers aren't actually like sloths, but what if they were? And like that's like it's perverting something, not perverting, but like turning something around, and that's what makes it work, because it's like a, what does Pete Holmes call it? A benign violation. Like, it's supposed to be something else, and it's this. That's why it works in Zootopia. In this, it's just something else, but there's nothing that it's supposed to be. Like, there's nothing that they're turning on its head besides, I mean, the boss baby part, but I'm talking about, like, the corporations. Like, there's nothing that Puppy Co. is supposed to be that they're turning around, or that Baby Co. is supposed to be that they're turning on its head.
The sort of... it even kind of gets more confusing, because we have this whole intro of Boss Baby kind of being like this outcast almost. All of the babies are being sent off normally, kind of. And he's kind of doesn't understand, you know, he's not a normal baby, obviously. He's created for middle management or whatever the fuck he goes into. So, like, when he shows up in a taxi cab in, like, a full suit, like, I just don't understand why the parents would... It's just so strange.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, like, I don't even know how the kid wouldn't be, or, like, the kid's like, oh, he looks different, kind of, but, like...
The parents
I don't
say
know, it was
anything
just a
about it.
very
It's a weird
confusing
universe where
premise,
they create
yeah.
their own problems and they don't solve a lot
Yeah.
of them. It's so weird. Like
Like, you can almost understand, like...
The concept
like
is
Rugrats
just
language, like, oh, babies have their own language and they're kind of communicating with each other, and it's kind of Boss Baby bosses the other ones around. They're at like a lower intelligence level, but they're still able to communicate and like secretly talk as babies, and that I get. But like, why one is in a suit and the others are just babies, I kind of don't get.
Well, again, with the whole Baby Co, Puppy Co thing, they like fuck their thing over from the start, because like it could have been a really nice thing where the satire was that when babies come into a family's life, they take over so much that they're like a boss. And I thought that's what they were going for, because they have a scene where he's
Right.
like, oh, you know, he demands this and it just happens for him like a boss, which is very true
Right.
of babies, but he's an exception. Because not only is he a baby that works for Baby Co, he's being sent in as like a secret agent, essentially, to pretend to be like a real baby. So like, it's not satire because that's not like the real thing. Satire would be like if every baby was Boss Baby in this universe, which they could have had. There's no reason they couldn't have not had that been the thing, and that would have been like 10 times more endearing if like it was, you know, it was just, this is one that we're learning about because this is the story, not that he's some special secret agent Boss Baby thing. Like they just shot themselves in the foot already with that like whole plot establishment.
Can I say for the record that I still felt emotional at the end of this movie? Like
I think there was a good movie in here.
I think I was more overcome with emotion than maybe Zootopia, even though Zootopia wasn't an incredible emotional movie. It was very different, but I think it's still... I'm trying to think of like a not as great animated movie that... I don't know. Like, I don't really watch... That's the other thing, is I don't know how to rank this because I don't really watch DreamWorks animation movies. Like, I haven't seen any of the Minions or fucking, like, Despicable Me or anything. What else do they put out? I haven't seen any of those movies. So I don't...
I mean, Shrek was DreamWorks.
Yeah, and Shrek was the boss.
Yeah.
He was the boss baby. You guys in the Shrek Superdome? Let's make some noise for Shrek.
Somebody once told me.
How great of a movie was Shrek? Shrek and Shrek,
When Shrek
2.
came out, it was like world bending. Like
Yeah.
Or world changing is a better word. Didn't bend the world.
I don't I can't even compare Shrek to anything like what it did. I don't know.
Shrek, I mean, I don't know if it was just because I was old enough to start getting the jokes, but Shrek was the first one, at least, where I realized that when they make kids movies, they throw in jokes that older people can get. And Shrek was the first one where I was starting to get those jokes, being like, this is funny on two different levels. Like, the kids can laugh at the joke no matter what, but the older people know what it's really about.
I think it was the first, though, like, animated movie that was playing to both sides of those coins, that was like both sides of the coin, that was like fucking a really well written, and kind of like it went hard in satire, you know. It wasn't like,
oh yeah,
I don't know,
like Matrix like parodies and stuff,
or just even like the whole kind of it flips a fairy tale on its head kind of,
yeah.
you know. It's very, I don't know, it's a great fucking movie. Even the second movie I really liked too. I don't remember seeing the third or anything. Or
which one is Puss in Boots in?
Oh, that's like the fourth or fifth or something. They made a lot of Shrek.
Shrek movies.
There's a lot of
There's only
Shreks.
3 movies.
Which one was Justin Timberlake in?
Wasn't he Puss in Boots? Who was he?
No, Antonio Banderas.
Antonio
was Puss in
Banderas,
Boots.
bro.
Justin Timberlake was like a prince or something in one of them.
I don't know.
Not in Mass Swamp.
But, I mean, Shrek was up for... Well, Shrek was up for Best Adapted Screenplay.
It's a solid screenplay.
It is.
See, that's the thing. It's like, part of me wants to go, kids are going to love Boss Baby because they're not going to think about that stuff. But then I'm like, you can make a good movie that parents can take their kids to, and the kids can enjoy it because they're going to enjoy, for the most part, whatever. But then parents can also enjoy it too. Zootopia was that movie. Half the shit that, you know, Pixar and Disney always put out is that movie. Mm-hmm. Shrek was that movie. And this, I think, is for admittedly for a younger slant of kids, for sure. Mm-hmm. But it's because it stoops to like duty jokes and like toilet humor a lot of the time, and just like, I think, like, we joke about it, but I think like the whole like baby butt humor is just because like,
kids were fucking kids going nuts for that.
That's
yeah,
hilarious. And the Superdome.
It did. Show me more butts. Baby butts. Specifically.
Baby butts.
I just don't get the whole... I don't think kids would connect with the whole corporate aspect of this movie.
That was definitely
bizarre.
bizarre.
It's just like...
It was a satire. It was kind of... They play hard into kid humor. If it was 100% kid humor, and it was like kid themes and kid satire and everything, like, I kind of would have been like, this movie is what it is, man. Like, this is like a good movie for what this is, but they have to go into like, I want yellowtail sushi, and where can you get the closest espresso? And it was just kind of like, okay, or just, it was just,
it's, I don't, like...
Or it was just
it couldn't figure out what it was trying to be, because like half of it is like super stylized, which it looks really cool. It's visually a pretty decent looking movie, and when it's the parts where it's consistent with itself, I really like the style. Like, even just like they kind of have like a lot of like old timey kind of like music behind it, which is a pretty cool aesthetic, I thought, pairing the two. But then they jump around with styles a lot. Like at one point it's like 2D animation, and that was weird. Yeah. And then they're just always doing like stylistic things where it's like, I know what I'm watching is playing out in real life, or even in the timeline of the movie that I'm watching. Like, they're just stylizing it for whatever reason. Like the one scene where like it's becoming apparent that like the baby's taking over the household, and like the 7-year-old is like walking around and stuff is just appearing. Like, obviously it's not magically appearing around the house.
Right.
It's a time lapse showing of, you know, how much the baby's taking over the household. But they do a lot of scenes like that where they like really over stylize stuff, and like that sort of makes sense in the end because it's a book. But then they also have scenes where like the sort of action scene, which was really weird, in the backyard when like all the babies are trying to get the evidence that the 7-year-old kid, I forget his name, has like captured, and then the parents look out and it's like nothing is actually happening.
Right.
Like, I don't understand what that's supposed to be. Like, if it's all supposed to be a book, then why do we have that shot of like oh, it's all just happening in these characters' imaginations in the book. Like, I don't know, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
I got a little creeped out when he was gonna fling Boss Baby out the window and into the street. I was like, that's like a little like baby murderish kind of. Yeah, it was.
I didn't mind that part because I thought
Super Dom's confused.
That was good because it was close to me to the central theme of the movie and what ends up working for it somewhat in the end, which is just the relationship between an older brother and a new younger brother, where they're jealous of the love that the younger brother's receiving.
Right.
It turns into like a hatred for that, younger brother, and yeah, there is kind of like
I feel like that message could have gotten across so much easier though. Like,
well, yeah, because
without...
they muddle it up with this weird corporate puppy co like timeline thing that it just becomes so weird, especially because like they start bonding. But then they're still both actively working to achieve this goal that really only matters in terms of like that they're going to send the Boss Baby away. Mm-hmm. But they've already bonded at that point, and they just are kind of going that way because the motion was already set in motion to work for it. But they work really hard afterwards for it. There's so much that I question about this movie.
It was a strange movie.
The Gandalf alarm clock.
Oh, I liked that. That was really clever.
It was funny,
and cool,
but
yeah.
they call it Wizzy.
Yeah, he called him like Wizzy, and he was doing like Gandalf impersonations.
Yeah,
and saying like actual Gandalf lines,
Yeah.
quotes,
which is like 5-year-olds haven't seen Lord of the Rings, so they don't know those lines, and it's not like incredibly funny enough to like. I felt like it was their attempt at like, oh, adults will laugh at this. But it was all they really got across, and it's not really enough.
But plot-wise, Boss Baby is taking the protagonist, Tim.
Tim.
Tim is taking, where Tim was an only child, and his parents sang Beatles' Blackbird to him.
Why Blackbird?
I don't know, but I know a lot of people were angry and like, that was my song! Like, I saw that in like Letterboxd reviews. People were mad about that, and I was like,
also,
like they bought the rights to that song. It's their song,
this
and
kid's
it
needy
made me
as
feel
fuck.
It made me feel like, I mean, Blackbird's a very emotional song.
What were people mad about?
Like that they used Blackbird. I don't know.
Really?
It's just it's just kind of like
it's a
why
weird
would you
song
use,
to
like,
use.
I guess it was maybe a song that they were close to, and why was this used in Boss Baby? Because they bought the rights to it, you dipshit. Like,
I guess
It does work for the purpose that it's meant to
It
be.
made sense at the end, that scene when the Boss Baby turns into like a real baby, and the kid's trying to get him to jump, and he starts singing the song and like, "Spread your wings, learn to fly." Something that shit. I mean, it makes sense in that regard, but besides that, it's like just kind of a random song to be your favorite song. Also, this kid is like really fucking needy, I thought. He's like, hug me! 7 hugs, 3 songs! My story!
yeah, this kid has
7 hugs, 3 stories, and my favorite song.
Yeah.
I was like, and the song's fucking Blackbird. I was
But I do,
watching it, I was just like...
Even if you look past like the aesthetic of Blackbird itself or the song choice, the idea of having like a song I thought was one of the nicer points of this script. Like, I think one of my favorite scenes, I'm gagging on that phrase as I say it, of the movie Boss Baby is when it's in the Timothy's bedroom and he's like crying about, because he had heard them singing Blackbird to the Boss Baby.
that was his song.
That was his song. And like, it's a really good voice acting performance from the kid. I forget his name. But he's crying about that. And Boss Baby.
It's kind of like Letterboxd crying. That was our song.
But like you can actually feel for the character there. Like, it's not too much muddled in like the puppy co baby co nonsense. And even just like the back and forth there is like really funny, where he's like, "That's my song, like that they wrote for me." And he's like, "Who? Like McCartney and like Lennon?" And he's like, "No, Gina and whatever. You don't even know their names."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a nice little innocent comment.
the family drama or the family dynamic or drama or whatever with the two loving parents who are trying to pay attention to Boss Baby and the son at the same time, and the son and whatever, the Boss Baby with his kind of ulterior motives before we find out that we have to go out of this house and go to fucking Puppy Co. or whatever. They have like a really nice, almost like Toy Story dynamic going on, where it's kind of he's trying to prove that this, it's not really what it looks like and everything. I don't know, or Boss Baby becomes, reanimated kind of when like the parents aren't around. He's not what you would usually think. He's not a baby. He's not a toy who's laying on the ground. He's animated, and it's just I don't know. They have like a really nice thing going, and again with the two corporations that they bring into it, it's well,
again, because there's a theme and a storyline and a through line in this script that is easily relatable, that would have worked, and they just muddle it up. Like, they did not have to add all this stuff about Puppy Co. and Baby Co. because it doesn't have anything to do with this storyline, really, in the end.
No, it's...
the only thing it really accomplishes is bringing the Boss Baby to that kind of, like, crossroads at the end where he has to make the decision about, do I go back,
well, he wants to stay, or,
do I continue this Boss Baby life? And that's a nice scene in and of itself. That's where the emotions start really working, but it also feels like it's trying to just imitate, like, moments like that in other movies. I do have to say, I do think Alec Baldwin is a really good voice actor.
Oh,
which
definitely.
I was not expecting at all. As much as I hate some of the words that he's forced to say in this movie, just and dialogue of this movie, I think it's all really well delivered. Like, and especially the differences he does between like that really gruff, man in a baby's body like type voice, and then when he's like trying to play like the cute baby for like the parents and stuff like that is really well good.
Yeah, it works a lot. Yeah,
a good contrast there. Trying to think, what else can I rip apart about this movie?
Jimmy Kimmel, Lisa Kudrow, they were pretty fine as the parents, I thought. I really liked the characters of the parents, and the voices. They did their job,
I thought it was really fucking weird that they didn't like question anything in the end.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of sort of the voice of reason throughout the rest of it, and in the end it's just kind of like, oh, we got trapped in a heart-shaped box by our boss who's stealing like formula from some weird Baby Co. that we didn't know existed, I guess, or maybe they do know it exists because they buy baby. I don't.
Did any of it really happen though? We don't know. It's a fucking story at the end. There's no...
I don't know why they didn't just make a movie where it was Timmy has a new baby brother, and it's essentially satire of the way that babies take over families when they join them, and that's why he's a boss baby, not because he actually works for like a company.
Right, and he says, I'm the boss.
The whole corporate company.
Baby.
The whole corporate company thing really muddled the whole plot for me. Like...
Also, the fact that like literally the character's name is Boss Baby, but he has a boss. I mean, they do kind of make a joke about that, where it's like a super mega colossal boss or whatever that lady's name is.
Right.
But it's still just weird.
What a strange fucking movie.
I know there's more I have to say about this. I just have to dig into what else happens in this movie.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, that whole plotline's super fucking weird. The whole fucking like the...
This is getting really worse. Like the more warm it becomes.
Yeah, finish it up. The drink.
Force it down.
Podcast.
I can't finish it up.
The weird like Lenny fucking character, like the nonverbal.
Like henchman,
it's like
kind
a henchman,
of.
Yeah.
That was when I was so like clocked out of this movie. Is the whole like across town like chase sequence where he's chasing them while they're trying to get to like the car or the airport or something, and he's just like groaning the entire time while doing these like incredible skateboard tricks on like a radio flyer wagon or something like that.
I kind of like that part.
It was.
I thought it was strange when he did like the Miss Doubtfire thing, when he was just kind of in the house and he was dressed as a woman, and
It was more like Mary
There was
Poppins.
some
Mary
weird
Poppins,
like
yeah.
misogynist or just like weird tones in this movie. Like when he does that and then he takes Steve Buscemi baby after he falls in the cream and gets turned back into an actual baby again. And he's like, I'll raise him right this time, and says it in like a really like feminine voice, and then walks off. And like Alec Baldwin, the boss baby, is like, oh, I'm sure that's gonna turn out like fine. Like there's a little bit of like privilege like in that kind of line of like, oh, like it almost feels like anti-trans or something like that. Like it was just weird. It felt very unwoke, a line like that, and unnecessary because it wasn't really that funny, and it was just a weird concept to begin with. And it's not like they really established that character. All he did was grunt the entire time, so it's not even like a really cool twist to see him talk in a feminine voice. Like,
right, yeah.
And it's totally unestablished, so... So what did you like? Because you're saying that you're touched by the emotions in this movie. What were you drawn to?
I really like the beginning. I think they do like a really great job building a relationship, kind of setting the scene of like, man, how great is life when you have the full attention of two parents, kind of. And that's really great. And again, even when a baby gets out of a taxi cab in a full suit and walks up to the front door, and then the parents pick him up and say, oh, this is our new baby. Even after that, I was able to be like, oh, like, this is what it's like when all you've lived your life as like a single child or whatever. And obviously, I don't know, I think it was like a great metaphor or whatever for, a younger sibling or whatever, and just being jealous of attention. I don't know. I liked that. I got off track, definitely at the point where I think we all got off track. But then at the end, I don't know. I feel like they wrapped back around to some of those feelings, and I just got emotional. I can't picture the scenes now. This is such a not memorable movie, but I remember being like, fuck, did I actually like Boss Baby? Like, kind of like at the end,
the one scene
like
I
a
did
really
liked, I
redeeming.
thought was really well done. They're coming back to like when he first becomes Boss Baby, and he like is sharpening his pencil, opening up like his like whatever, and he's like getting ready to do work. And then now that he's got like this corner office and he's got everything that he's aspired for in life, and he sits down at like the big like high chair office thing, and again he sharpens his pencil, he opens everything, and he's like getting ready to work, but all he can think about is like wanting to go back to his family essentially again. And then he gets the memo, and that was a really nice moment script-wise in terms of bringing the memo back, because he had always talked about how important memos were, and it's how you send a very important message. And it's like Tim, trying to meet him on his level, writes him a really nice kind of almost tear-jerking memo where he's talking about, he brings all this stuff back. There's a lot of full circle stuff that happens in that scene that makes it really nice. Like he's talking about like earlier, the Boss Baby had been like, every day at dinner, I'll be there. And when you wake up, I'll be there. And every Christmas, every year, I'll be there. And now he's bringing it back in like a more emotional sense where he's like, I'm going to be there for you every day when you wake up. And every like Christmas, year after year, I'm going to be there for you. So like that scene was really nice to give him the option to make the choice and have him choose to go back to the family, even if it meant, losing 30 years of experience or whatever and becoming like a goo goo gaga baby again.
Right, because it goes into some weird territory of Boss Baby will become this regular baby, and maybe will lose his entire identity, presuming memory, like everything kind of. It's kind of like this rebirth. And it's kind of like this, like, maybe I just kind of like took it too deep, and it was like, it's kind of like, it's okay to be like scared about that kind of, and like maybe you're like not willing to take that jump and you want to stay in like this kind of corporate thing. It was just kind of like this, like almost like, it almost kind of like started to become like this analogy for like maybe you don't want to spend the rest of your life in an office. Maybe
it's trying to make this message of like
leap.
there's more to life than your status at your employment or working or getting promotions and stuff like that. Like it means nothing if you don't have someone to come home to and a family to like care for you, and that's like a really nice message. And I did like the idea of him having this choice and choosing to go back to them, but I also don't know if I can justify the whole thing that they have to set up in order for that to be the choice. Like,
right.
I don't know what the alternative is if you get rid of Puppy Co.
Right. I don't know how to pitch this movie any
and
better.
just have it be like a satire of younger siblings becoming the boss of the family. It kind of has to rewrite the whole script at that point.
Yeah.
But I still don't think it justifies the rest of it.
You're right.
There's so many small things they could have done to make this a better movie. Like they could have gotten rid of the whole Tobey Maguire thing. Got rid of the fact that it was a book.
Tobey Maguire.
And cut down on the stylization. It was so over stylized for me, and the scenes looked good, but there was nothing that was ever grounded. Where I never knew when I was supposed to be like, this is real. So I never got attached to anything too much because it was always some weird time lapse or some like 2D animation scene or something where like it's like an over representation, like when he gets grounded and his room turns into like a jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, what about all those kinds of scenes? Like,
and like I'm sure that
jail,
probably
like the
works in
pirate
like
ship,
it works in the picture book, but it doesn't really work like in a movie where we're supposed to be like, where do you want me to connect? Like, when is this real and when is this just like the overactive imagination of a kid who we can't trust? Like it's almost like an unreliable narrator like the entire time.
Yeah. I also do like, because now I'm stuck on things that I did like about the film. It was kind of like you have these super supportive, super cushy parents who are, giving you 5 hugs and 3 books and 1 favorite song or whatever, and now you have this very kind of demanding character like brought into your life, and it makes you feel not only uncomfortable that he's demanding the attention of everybody that you love in your life, but he's also demanding more of you, kind of, and it's kind of he's patronizing you kind of in a strange way. And there was also something emotional about that character like surrendering to like the boss character. And then there's also like something where like again Tim is riding his bike and he doesn't have training wheels, and he just kind of needs that commanding like tough love voice to like keep going and keep riding the bike, or like and then again very fastly progresses, but then by the end of the bike ride he fucking launches off a hill and like over a train or beats a train or something, even though this like demanding voice in his life advises against it, and he's able to I don't know, it's just weird. It was bizarre because it's not all it's not a bad movie in the sense that it's like disconnected at all. I'm just fucking up wires down here. It's not like a disconnected movie. I like that like the mega fucking fat baby like grows up to be like the parent's boss, and it's all kind of like this woven thing, and maybe you get to see like the boss baby kind of gets to see like, my God, like is this like the jaded kind of future that I hold if I continue like this lifestyle? Is this like person who's dead set on revenge of like Baby Corp or whatever the fuck? Like it's just there's a lot of things at play here that are like really under the surface, and it's too bad that like the surface level story is so stupid.
I think there is a good movie in here. If
there
you
is,
combine the visuals, which are really good, you tone down the stylization a little bit, you cut some of the nonsense that's going on in the background with the
I like the stylization stuff, but they didn't.
You make
it
more satire. You probably get rid of, in my opinion, all the other baby characters like that are in like the meeting sequence. Like, just keep it to the one baby.
I hated those
because
triplets.
They're not boss babies.
It was not,
that makes not a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, are they agents that were also sent there, or are they ones that were just given? It just opens up a whole bunch of weird questions that I don't need to be asking because they're meaningless. And then if you carry, like, I really like that whole like vintage music like aesthetic of like, and I think it's set in the past a little bit. From what I can tell, it seems like it's I don't know, the way they're all dressed and stuff, it looks like kind of old timey-ish a little bit. It's got definitely like a 60s kind of vibe to it almost. And that's kind of a really cool aesthetic. And like the underlying message of, yeah, it's tough to have a younger brother, but it also means that there's someone else there for you to love and another relationship for you to grow. That's a really cool message, and it's an important message for kids, but it gets lost with all like the silly nonsense that gets thrown in here and like the toilet jokes and the
because
butts.
there are a lot of touching moments in this movie. Actually, like the whole journey of them becoming closer.
Yeah.
You know, like there's this scene when they're on a plane. The kid's like, "Oh, Mom and Dad, you usually hold my hand when I, before we take off," and then we see him like put his hand on his hand, and like all that stuff, and then there's the scene when he's trying to get the kid to jump, and there's that connection there, and if it would have been so much more effective if there wasn't all this stuff in the middle of that was like making it all muddled, like the whole corporation aspect of it.
And again, kids watching probably don't care. They see the jokes. They're not looking on the deeper level.
Yeah.
But the older you get with the kids that are going to see this movie, the older ones are going to see some of the weirdness of this movie and be like, yeah, they may not be able to put their finger on why it feels off, but I think the older ones are going to realize that this movie feels a little off. Mm-hmm. And it's because there's nothing to ground this movie in terms of where do we place Baby Co in our realm of understanding? Where do we put Puppy Co in our realm of understanding? Like it's not even like the Baby Co doesn't even really do a good job of like understanding where babies come from. Like they just are just kind of shooting them down slides. Like it would have made more sense if like the parents came back in the taxi with the boss baby, because then it's like, oh, they came back from the hospital with it. But he just shows up in the taxi by himself.
Like, how are the
why are the parents not like?
How are the regular babies showing up?
That's what I don't know. Like, it's almost like it's creating an alternate universe rather than being like a satiric, explanation for where stuff comes from. Satirical, not satiric.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I don't know. This movie's fucking confusing. Because I'm not totally dead set against it, and I think that's the hard part for me to wrap my mind around. And I think maybe I'm seeing like what this movie could have been.
That's what that's what hurts me the most about it, is that I see the potential in it, and there are touching moments.
I don't feel like
they're not completely like it's not like they're touching moments in a vacuum. Like the touching moments are well established emotionally because they do establish these characters, but they just throw all this other nonsense around it that it's kind of like you can enjoy these moments if you forget that other stuff happened.
It just kind of loses its impact with everything else.
I honestly went into this movie thinking it was going to be a worse movie than it actually ended up being. It's something I can definitely say. Also, I can definitely say this is maybe not the worst movie I saw this year. And we haven't seen that many movies this year.
What would be the worst?
I don't know. But this isn't the complete. I don't know.
I'm trying to think what else I gave a low score this year. Beauty and the Beast, maybe. Beauty and the Beast was better than this.
Yeah, it's all weird. Because it's a bunch of different scales. I don't know.
I talk about this a lot in the podcast. I'm a sucker for consistency, and I fucking hate when movies aren't consistent, and especially stylistically. Like, I think it's like the easiest thing to do to just make a singular unit of media that you're putting out. And this movie jumps all over the place stylistically. Like, from jumping from 3D to like 2D silhouettes to like just other weird, like it just doesn't make sense a lot of the time. It's just if they had just kept with that weird in a good way, like quirky 60s aesthetic of vintage music, like the weird, like, not asymmetrical, like squares and shapes and weird edges and stuff, like kind of like pastel like colors of like the 60s and stuff like that, like, and just kept with that the entire way through. That would have been like one thing they could have done to just be like, to set my mind at ease and be like, all right, you can just focus on this singular unit of media that we're putting out rather than trying to do too many different artistic styles in like one movie.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I like some of the different choices that they did.
They look cool on their own, but when you throw them all together, that's what annoys me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that.
It might be personal bias, though. But when we start getting into some finger ratings...
Why don't we finger this boss, baby?
The stadium is shaking! The riot police have come out!
Babies are being taken away by security!
On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, The Boss Baby has an approval rating of 53% based on 135 reviews, with an average rating of 5.5 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, The Boss Baby's talented cast, glimmers of wit, and flashes of visual inventiveness can't make up for a thin premise and a disappointing willingness to settle for duty jokes. Duty jokes.
Dirty jokes. Oh, man.
Who wants to go first?
I'll probably go first.
5 fingers! Are you tired of this joke yet?
5 fingers for the baby butt stuff. So what would the aggregate 5.5 out of 10, so that'd be
Still comes to 2.5.
2.5 fingers. I think I'm gonna give this 2 fingers. I just didn't completely hate it. It was hard for me to, I don't know. Again, I think DreamWorks has been putting out some shit lately, and I think this is a step in the right direction. Then again, I haven't seen a lot of stuff DreamWorks is really putting out. I mean, Shrek is super dated. I mean, it's a great reference for what DreamWorks has done before, but it feels super dated. But yeah, I feel like I've said everything I really needed to say. I think it had I think it has a good message in it, and I think maybe this can be a nice tool for children that maybe have a little boss baby on the way, even though that doesn't exist in our reality, and they might get confused by the metaphor, but by the end they'll be like, you know what, maybe a little brother won't be that bad. Mm-hmm. Alec Baldwin gives he gives like a really great voice performance. I do like some of the aesthetic choices that they use. I think it's really sweet when it's sweet. And I think it's really dumb when it gets stupid. And I think it's just below average. So I think that's why I'm going to give it a 2.
We also didn't talk about the sequence where they trip on baby
pacifiers.
Right.
They become enlightened by sucking on pacifiers.
Oh yeah, and he wants to take him to
baby co.
Baby co. He's like, suck it, suck on it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was supposed to laugh at that part.
I did. I was.
Yeah, that was one of those parts. I was definitely like,
just suck on it.
Am I supposed to cheer like the Superdome, or am I supposed to?
Rule of thumb: the Superdome cheers. Don't cheer along with them.
Don't be in the Superdome crowd.
Just wait. Okay, they're cheering. All right, I won't.
Oh, this is something I shouldn't do.
Yeah. I mean, I've said most of what I feel about this movie. Just to maybe pick up on some of the positives that I maybe haven't fully explained or touched on, even though I don't have a whole lot to say about them. But I do think, even outside of Alec Baldwin, I think the voice acting is phenomenal for the entire cast, to be honest. I really liked the kid playing Tim. Mm-hmm. I guess Tobey Maguire I didn't really like, but I was also just kind of seething at the fact that he was narrating it to begin with.
Exactly.
He's kind of a weird choice, and he doesn't have the greatest voice quality for a narrator. Because I feel like they need an older sounding voice for someone like that. He still doesn't sound too old.
Why is he still working after Spider-Man 3?
I still just picture Peter Parker when I hear him talk. So I don't have time picturing him as an adult. But like Jimmy Kimmel and Lisa Kudrow, they're all fine. As much as I don't like Steve Buscemi's character, he does great voice acting as always. And then Alec Baldwin and the kid playing Tim are really, really great. And even the kid is, again, I hated the fact that their characters were in this movie. I thought they were so useless. The like other team of like babies that are supposed to be working with Alec Baldwin, but the voice actors are all great for those characters. So I think that's great. And I think the individual scenes are really animated very nicely. There's obviously a lot of skill and style that go into it. And they create a lot of nice visual moments when they're over stylizing these scenes, even though I don't agree with the choice to over stylize so many of them and the choice to make them not consistent with each other. But there is still technical skill involved with those. And there are moments of heart that work. And like I was saying before, that through line of heart through the movie is kind of the one part of the script that really works, where they do establish these characters, they do establish this evolving relationship, and there is kind of like a traditional story arc of going from hating this character and learning to be able to deal with and accept having a brother and love him at the same time. And like that's good screenwriting there. But everything else is like real garbage in this movie. A lot of the jokes I don't think are very funny. I think I always hate when children's movies stoop to like toilet humor level, because I think it really undersells what kids are capable of understanding, and it sets the bar low for what kids should be like laughing at. And then just the nonsense with like Puppy Co. Baby Co. Like I said, like I don't know what I'm supposed to relate that to. It just makes no sense, and because of that, I don't care about anything that's going on, because it doesn't feel like a real universe or reality. And it felt like they put no effort towards like trying to make it feel real. Like just nothing about it was grounded in any sense of reality for me. Like a whole like like it's one thing to have a company that sells dogs, but to have them like showing them off like a new car was just I don't fucking get it. So then to go further, like I said before, then to have it be all book, then I just am further completely checked out of caring, and I feel ashamed for having cared for like a small moment during that nice scene at the end. So I'm going to give it one finger. Like you, I did see the potential in this movie, but that's more what disappoints me about it, is that it had all the elements to make a really great kids movie with a good message that was, you know, funny and endearing at the same time, and it kind of just failed on a lot of fronts. So I'll give it one finger. That's
one
me.
finger.
You guess which finger it is.
No.
I didn't get why you guys are cheering about.
Like Mike said, I think this movie had a lot of potential. Like, there are a lot of touching moments in this movie. I still feel that the whole Baby Go, Puppy Go thing is lost, and if I feel like it has the potential to be lost on kids watching this movie. They won't be able to relate to it. So, in that sense, I feel like the plot weakened. But besides that, I thought the voice acting was great. You know, I thought this movie could have been a whole lot better if it just stuck to a simpler plot and just tried not to make it so muddled with a bunch of shit in the middle, because the beginning and end were like really solid, I thought.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna go one finger for this one.
Which finger? It's gonna come out to 1.3 repeating, and I'll round down to one finger. On a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are you guys of that joke? Oh boy. All right. So that's been our review of The Boss Baby.
It's the boss, baby. I'm the boss, baby.
Make sure you check out Andrew's band, Bright Eyed Deliverance, on Facebook, facebook.com/Bright Eyed Deliverance, and stay tuned for their 6-song EP coming out soon. Recording now. It's gonna be
dropping
dope.
soon.
Andrew,
Have a lot of musical guests on this.
Yeah. All three of our guests tonight were musically inclined.
They were.
Let's drop some quick links for us, and then we'll get the heck out of here. As always, howmanyfingerspodcast.com for everything. Just go there. I don't even know why I read the rest of the stuff because you can just find it all there. But please rate us on iTunes, leave us a review, sign up for our mailing list on MailChimp, a link on our website, subscribe to our YouTube, again, link on our website. Please keep those YouTube subscriptions coming in because the more of those we get, we can eventually get our own custom link. YouTube.com/howmanyfingerspodcast.
It'd be so much easier.
It would be so much easier. Make sure, as always, to check out our merch at howmanyfingerspodcast.bigcartel.com.
Look at the merc.
We got merch. We got koozies, stickers, t-shirts, and all three in a package deal for $11.99. That link again, howmanyfingerspodcast.bigcartel.com. And we got an Amazon link and an iTunes link on our website, howmanyfingerspodcast.com. If you click on either of those, we'll get a little cut of anything that you purchase within the next 24 hours within either of those browser windows. Really easy way to support the podcast and without going too far out of your way. And that's all I got for links. Andrew, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for coming
Superdome, thank you for coming out tonight.
Baby butts! Jonah butts!
Thanks for having me, guys.
For How Many Fingers the Podcast, I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
And I'm... Andrew. Thanks, guys.